I'm flying to Vegas for the joint practices. They are Thursday and Friday morning, and they're a very interesting event. The Niners have them every year. They're difficult to cover. So a typical practice is 90 players, and it's offense, defense. It's all, I mean, when they warm up, they're in different areas, but when they're actually scrimmaging 11 on 11, they're all on one field. It's almost like a fight at the playground. You got the offense lined up on one sideline, or the offense lined up behind the ball, the defense lined up on one sideline, and they're all huddled around the players on the field, watching the violence that's about to take place on one. So it's a very spotlighted event. Everyone can see what's happening. Joint practices are 180 people. And when it's time to do 11 on 11s, there are two fields going at once. There are two team drills sessions going at once. On one side, you got the Niners offense against the Raiders defense. So that's Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Sam Darnold. That storyline. On the other field, you got the Raiders offense against the Niners defense. That's Jimmy Garoppolo against his old teammates. So me, the journalist, I have to make a decision. What am I watching? 2 days. Which side am I watching? Do I split it up? Do I only watch Niners offense? Do I have a day where I watch Niners defense? Do I only watch Niners defense? Is Jimmy the story? Are the Niners quarterbacks the story? What would you do in this situation? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch the 49ers quarterbacks because that's the story. You know what ain't the story anymore? Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. He's history. Used to be fun to talk about him, but ultimately him flourishing with the Raiders or going down in flames with the Raiders doesn't freaking matter anymore to us. If he throws a bunch of interceptions against the Niners, we'll chuckle. If he throws a bunch of touchdowns against the Niners, we'll make note of it. We might compare it to what the Niners quarterbacks are doing. It will be interesting to compare what the Niners quarterbacks are doing to what Jimmy's doing. But I can't do that because I can't watch two things at once. I have to choose. So I'm choosing the 49ers quarterbacks. Thankfully, friend of the show, friend in general, Ryan Sakamoto, covers the Raiders. He's going to be at the practices. So what I can do is I can ask him to chart Jimmy Garoppolo. So I can't tell you what Jimmy Garoppolo's looking like, his demeanor. I can't describe the throws, but I can get the information. And we can compare his numbers to the real deal the real deal Brock Purdy's numbers. That'll be interesting. But I can't watch both of them. And right now the story's Brock, not Jimmy. That's my game plan. Sorry, Jimmy. What I will do is I'll walk over to Jimmy Garoppolo and say, hey, man, it's so great to see you. I miss you. Should I do that? Might be fun. What do you think he'll say? I'd kind of like to do that. Hey, Jimmy. Heard things are going great. All the best. Keep proving us wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to watch Jimmy at these practices. Khalil Kemp says it's okay if this team doesn't win the Super Bowl so long as they think they won the Super Bowl because we all know that's what really matters. It's true. You know how people like talk about the participation trophy generation? Aren't the Niners like kind of flirting with that? They haven't gotten the real hardware and they're acting like it doesn't matter. Like that's not what it's all about. Okay, then just print yourself up, make yourself a participation trophy and be done with it. Ricky Williams says, need help at D-line. What trade we making at the deadline to upgrade this roster? Have draft capital. We got to make a move for impact player. If we are all in, we're going to scrap this team anyway in a few. You really think the midseason trade is going to be for someone on defense? This defense is always good. It starts good. It ends good. It's the offense that can't get its stuff together until Halloween, until the trade deadline. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, their offense was lagging. Their starting wide receivers were Marquise Goodwin and Dante Pettis until Debo asserted himself and they traded for Emmanuel Sanders. They had to overhaul the offense. The offense is always the thing that starts slow. So it's going to be this year. I don't know. They're going to a quarterback probably. How about that? They trade for a quarterback. They're going to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo at the trade deadline. How about that? Kirk Cousins at the deadline. Am I wrong? Probably. But what if I'm not wrong? How about that? You didn't think about that. Pete Says under over 2 fights at Niners-Raiders practice. And it's going to be Jimmy. Max Crosby versus Colton McKivitz. Maybe. Please do a collaboration with Ryan Sakamoto while in Vegas next week. It's a good idea. I'll see what he wants to do. I'll talk to him. Chris says, watch the offense. Can't wait for Kyle to realize that he needs more than 24 points per game. This defense isn't going to be the reason they win. Yeah, I don't know about this defense. We'll see. Grant, we're talking about practice, man. Better to screw up during practice than in games, as Tavarius. True. Good call, Tavarius. Shreddy Murphy says, I heard Nick Wright question Kyle's ability to evaluate quarterbacks. Finally needs to be hot seat year for Kyle after that real deal comment. See you in LV. Yeah, I just feel like that was not smart for Kyle because he could have always been hedging like, Brock's the best we got, but I'm still looking. But as soon as you call him the real deal, like, all right, well, then win the Super Bowl. Because that's the only question like most people have with your team. I mean, insiders know the right side of the offensive line ain't it, but most people just feel like the Niners are a quarterback away. You say Brock Purdy's the real deal. Ipso facto, you should win the Super Bowl, right? Manny Fresh, great producer, says, when will Kyle Shanahan get fired 7 years without a solid quarterback? Never. Because he's a genius.